What's good, everybody? Today, there was some breaking news that my Chicago Bulls have finally hired a brand new head coach, and they hired Tiago Splitter from the Portland Trailblazers. Now, I wanted to make this video because, one, I am a Bulls fan and I wanted to talk to somebody about it. And hopefully, this video reaches out to a lot of Bulls fans out there as well that was interested and wanted to know more about Tiago Splitter, like I did when me researching and finding out more about him throughout the season and today as well about his coaching history. So the Bulls, they finalized it today. He will be the replacement for Billy Donovan. This guy, he is known to be more of a development coach, and he had his history there. Like he started coaching in the NBA around 2018. So yeah, we all know him as the basketball player that won a chip with San Antonio, and it was great and everything. So he learned under the great Greg Popovich, as we all know. He's 41, and he did lead the Blazers to a 42-40 record and made a postseason debut after the Blazers didn't make the playoffs in about 5 years, right? So yeah, he took over the head coaching job because of the Chauncey Billups federal charges that he had with all the gambling and everything. And the Bulls, I guess they interviewed him, a part of guys like the Minnesota Timberwolves assistant Micah Nori, Atlanta Hawks assistant Ryan Schmidt, and the current Bulls assistant Wes Unseld Jr., which I wasn't gonna be happy if we promoted Wes Unseld Jr., but out of all the guys, it was either I liked between him and Micah Nori. I also like Chris Quinn, the assistant from the Miami Heat, but he wasn't the finalist. And I think there is a reason why Chris Quinn hasn't gotten a head coaching gig already, because he's been an assistant coach alongside Eric Spoelstra for like over a decade now. So you would think he would get a head coaching job sooner or later, right? But that just hasn't happened yet. But yeah, the Bulls, they landed on Splitter. So Bryson Graham, the new vice president of basketball operations, thinks he's the guy. He wanted someone who could coach both sides of the ball, could develop our young guys, which he is a guy who develops. And he has playing and coaching experience, and he was a player development scout over there with the Brooklyn Nets as well. And he also coached, the Brazilian national team as well, and also he took a year with Paris. Now, yeah, so he was the assistant coach and player development guy. He started out as a scout in 2018 with the Nets, and then later on in 2020, 2021, he was assistant coach and the player development department for the first 3 years of Brooklyn. And alongside, like, bro, if you look at this coaching staff with the Brooklyn Nets, I seen this earlier under Steve Nash. You have a lot of guys who had head coaching gigs, like Jack Vaughn. He was a head coach with the Nets before. Ime Udoka is still a current coach. Mike D'Antoni, we know about him. Tiago Splitter just became a new head coach, well, after being an intern with the Blazers, right? Jordan Ott, the coach for the Suns, is really good. And they have guys like Roy Ivey and Amari Stoudemire in that staff, but nonetheless, this guy, he's been there, and he knows what it takes. He also went to Houston in 2023-2024 to be the assistant coach under Ime Udoka. After that, with Houston, he went on to go ahead and coach at Paris, where he won a championship over there in the France League. Yeah, so he was really highly coveted over there. They really liked him. His first year with Paris, they won a championship and a groundbreaking qualification for the EuroLeague playoffs. So yeah, a first in the history of French basketball. And after that, he went on to go ahead and be the assistant coach back in the NBA for the Portland Trailblazers, right? That we all know. So I already told you about the Chauncey Billups thing. Tiago Splitter steps in, he becomes the head coach there, and funny enough, this guy, he went on ahead and took this team to the playoffs. I mean, you would think, hey, they're not a bad team, like on paper. You would think, the season prior, they were a good team anyway, and they were on pace to be a good team anyway. They had high expectations coming into the season, being like a really good defensive team. But overall, they were just battered with injuries. I mean, we look at the games played. We have Tumani Kamara, played all 82 games. Shout out to him. And then Donovan Clingan played 77 of them. But if you go on to look at like other key players alongside of these guys, like of course, like Matisse Thybulle, he only played 30 games with them. He was out with injury. Scoot Henderson didn't play until the second half of the season. He was out for a majority of the time. Another guy, Shaden Sharp, only played 50 games out of 82. Drew Holiday only played 53 games. Chris Murray only played 57. Jeremy Grant only 57. They're missing like a third of the season pretty much. Robert Williams 59 games. And then Denny, he was playing good, and then he suffered like a lower back injury like towards the end of the season. So I'm gonna put him in there in the mix as well, because they're trying to make that playoff push and they somehow did it. I don't know how. So props to Tiago Splitter for making this happen. For the majority of their key guys just missing the season and dealing with injuries, because you would have thought these guys would be like in the lottery pretty much. But nonetheless, though, after they win these 42 games with the injury riddled season, they went on to beat the Suns in the play-in to clinch the 7th seed, which is it's pretty good in my opinion. I mean, that Suns team, they went on and still clinched the playoff as well as the AC. They had to play the Thunder. And then with the Blazers being the 7th seed, they stole a game from San Antonio. Everyone thought that San Antonio would just sweep their way. Obviously, San Antonio won in 5. There was a chance that, I remember Portland, they could have won another game. They were up big, but then they blew a lead in terms of, and I believe it was either game 3 or game 4. I can't really remember, but it was one game when they were up and then they blew the lead. And then like it was the same game that Wemby, I believe he was hurt, I believe, and then Dylan Harper and them like came along and like they came back. It was crazy. It was a crazy game, but there is some pros and cons with Tiago Splitter, because I was hearing from Trailblazers fans that either they like him or they don't, because one, the Blazers didn't want to bring Tiago Splitter back because the owner just didn't want to pay him. There was like sources saying they're too cheap and they didn't want to pay him at all, and they're probably gonna look for like a cheaper coaching option. Who knows what the Blazers are gonna do? And then there's fans, and I know a lot of people. I'm getting things from like Twitter, like fans from Twitter and over there. Like, you don't really take that really serious. Like, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But saying like his offensive adjustments are really bad, and then I look at like the metrics of the Blazers, and I'm pretty sure they were like really bad at like keeping the ball. Like, they turned over the ball a lot. Like, obviously, like you look here with the season, and Boston, they lead the league in not turning the ball over. And like the other half, you have Portland, who's last, who turned the ball over like a whole like just dead last. That's all you need to know. Just dead last. They turn over the ball a lot, like coming last season. And I get it. They're going through injuries on not a lot of playmakers. I mean, Denny was pretty much their playmaker. He had the ball a lot. And then that's how he had like a lot of, he would average like close to 4 turnovers a game. Jeremy Grant, Drew Holiday averaged like 3. Shaden Sharp averaged like 3 when they played. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, so that's like a con I kind of have about him, is probably like the offense. But as a development standpoint into coaching a young team, this is really good for the Bulls, considering the Bulls are a really young team. They really need the development. So I think that's a pro on his end in terms of making the young guys better. And then the defensive end, I think he could coach defensively. I've seen the Blazers lock in defensively. Like, they could hold their own. Obviously, the Blazers have way better defensive talent than the Bulls do. But what's stopping Tiago Splitter from implementing like good sets, or a defensive scheme that he could just carry over there to the Bulls, right? So that's the pro and cons in that. And then like yeah, the cons is just the turnovers, the offensive, and then situational in coach things, like which we witnessed in the playoff, is Tiago blowing leads, like the Spurs blowing leads. I don't know how many times the Spurs blew leads, but from Spurs fans, what they said, that there's times where you will blow a lead. So that's something I don't want to experience as a Bulls fan myself, especially if we get good and he's still with us. where we just start blowing leads and it costs us, you know? Like, we just watched the whole finals where the Spurs blew leads every game, and they lost in the worst way possible. That's the worst way to lose, like, of NBA finals. Like, being able to be up that much each game and then just blow it in the fourth quarter. I don't want to be that team. So hopefully that's something to clean up on his end, and you know, it's a learning experience. You know, he's still young in terms of his like head coaching career, but they're gonna, you know, learn and grow together. And I don't know, this could be good for the Bulls in terms of, like, you know, being young right now and resetting completely and getting a development guy. But at the same time, is he going to be the guy to lead us to championships later down the run where we have a good team and he doesn't cost us any games because he doesn't know when to call timeout and he lets a run just build up against us and it goes really wrong, you know? But overall, I hope nothing but the best as a Bulls fan. Because I really need this, man. I really need this. Because man, this is crazy. This is crazy. Hopefully all goes well. Hopefully going into the draft, Tiago Splitter and, you know, Bryson Graham get together and you know, share their thoughts on which prospects they want to bring into this new era. We'll see. Anybody from the top 4, and with the 15th pick, hopefully someone that knows how to play both sides of the ball and could impact really well, right? But I appreciate to everyone who stayed to the end, especially all the Bulls fans that this probably reached out to. And I'm just optimistic, man. Whether we could be good again, because I'm tired of just watching us lose. I really am. So thank you. Leave a like and subscribe for more NBA content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.